time to trust in me, and you will find. And time goes by so naturally while you receive infinity.
Okay, Shauna Lee here. We're going to do the energy report. It's going to be a quick shot here. Just going to kind of give an overflow. So this is it's general for everyone, just to kind of get a grip of the frequencies as I see it, or as my guides see it, this kind of thing. So we're going to start with the Isis cards. So the first of the Isis cards here for the energy report, what we have is soul retrieval. Deep soul healing with the goddess. Okay. So over this time, right, if you were into my last set of readings here on the spiritual side, everybody is the universal energy is trying to get everyone's soul back into balance. Retrieval is part of that process. Integration, all of this. So we're all trying to get into our assigned places, like I'm seeing a theater and a stage. It's like places, clap, 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 everybody get into, and everybody morphs into those areas. This is kind of what I'm getting. And the soul retrieval, if you know anything about that, it is somewhat getting all of our energy back from those that may have, one, deliberately wanted to take it from us, or where we gave up our energy to those knowingly or unknowingly. I need to get all of those parts back so that we can become whole again, spiritually I'm talking, but also you will feel this in a physical way down the road. We're not there yet, but that's where we're headed. So soul retrieval, this is what's going on. This is everybody who has their feet on the earth. This is the task that the universe is assigned here. Retrieving everyone's soul to make them their highest good, or at least get them ready to deal with their highest good. Okay, next card. Yeah, the Chamber of Healing. Well, don't you know? Now, see, this is the thing, right? This card went through pretty much, I almost think it went through every reading in some kind of way. The healing word was there. And again, allowing those that choose to enter the healing field to rise, and gain momentum here, having to do with soul advancement and moving forward in this way. Again, there will be people that will resist this, and these will be, the difference between the two will become quite obvious. You may have a family, so you look inside a family, and there may be people that will be actively working on themselves, and there's people that just won't. And you will feel the combustion there. It will start to show itself quite highly at this time. There'll be a lot of bickering, a lot of, these kinds of things may be happening in order to, again, it's all to evolve. So it's better to concentrate on thyself rather than people outside of us in order to advance forward, because we can get quite distracted if we focus on others outside of us. So the internal path is the way to go here. Quick tip is what they said. Go internally and we will make more headway, especially if we're having problems or are finding it hard at this time. So this third in the 3 series here of the Isis cards is the Flower of Life. Yes. So we're really, the universe helping us retrieve our soul so that we enter the Chamber of Healing, heal all those parts, and then flower into the life that we're meant to live at this time. And again, this is all, wow, it's heavy. But it's a good heavy, because it's a heavy, it's like we're heavy with jackets, and it's like we're ripping them off and the sun's shining and da-da-da. It's like we're in the cold blizzard and we're coming into the warm sun. This is kind of what they're showing me graphically. So when I say heavy, I don't mean between light and dark. I mean very deep and very relieving once we deal with all of this. spiritual stuff, these issues energetically. Wow. Okay. So that's the first row, soul retrieval. On top of the soul retrieval card, we go into the color cards here. This will be interesting because I have to maybe take a minute. I don't know. We're going to experiment with these color cards. So on the soul retrieval card, we have the shining of the sun is really, I feel like that's God light itself that we're trying to intermingle with. We're trying to reach out to grab. On top of that card, the color card we get is mauve. Enjoy clear hearing. So a while back we had, the heart center, but it was also clairvoyance was coming. Now it's clear hearing, which is clairaudience, right? This is being able to hear what is coming in from the universal frequencies. Now, the sense that I'm getting is people, like everybody, will be getting thoughts. And again, what is our thought? What is the universal thought? And what is the universal mind, right? In a sense, I feel like a lot of people, even if they are not intuitive, they don't believe in this, they're going to realize there's stuff coming from up in there in our head that is a little bit beyond what I normally think about in the average day. They're going to really be able to decipher. So maybe the universal energy is working harder on shifting that perspective so that we see that more clearly. The ability to discern, that's not really my thought. Where'd that come from? That's an inspired thought. I'm going to go after that. That's something I couldn't have come up with on my own. I have that quite often. I listen to my own readings, and it was funny because the last time, little story. Last time we had a set of readings, I was quite inquisitive about certain information that crossed through the reading. And I go, I can't come up with this myself. And they're going, well, you are the conduit for the message to get through. And I said, is this just for me or is it for everybody? And they said, well, it is for everybody. It's more than just you. But at the same time, there are points in it that we can utilize in our own essence. So it's kind of blowing my mind that there's a teacher inside me that is teaching me to grow that I couldn't have done on my own. And this is the sense that I'm getting. This clear hearing is that teacher inside you. It's like not quite the answer we'd come up with, and not even the verbiage, like the language might be a little off, or, it's something we wouldn't say in our own mind. We're going to start to hear these things, and the sense they're giving me is it would be for our highest good to listen, and not only listen, but even start to act in these ways and see if these are the right or wrong ways. Like those that are in conflict won't take you long. 2 steps into it and you'll realize, no, that's the wrong voice. This is the right voice. Because it is very conflictive. And especially with children, right? Because you don't have the knowledge, the wisdom base here. So you follow the little devil that says, go tip over that bowl of salad, just go throw it up in the air. And then the other voice is going, no, don't do that, right? So as adults, we have discernment so we can see that more clearly. This is what I'm getting. The universe trying to connect with us through clear hearing. So voices coming into your head that are not necessarily recognizable as your own thought pattern, your own thought process, or your own words that you may even use. So take those in. Don't just let them fly by. They're all there to help you go forward. So on the next card here, enter the Chamber of Healing. The color card on there we get is brown. Wow. High contrast here. Establishing boundaries, right? Okay, I get this. This is interesting because when you look here, there's like a brown. It's the same color of drapery that they use for the Chamber of Healing. And it makes me think of, right, earth, grounding into who we are. Again, taking the healing to make us more solid in who we are. Okay. The vibrant green, right? And again, thinking of heart and compassion and clarity, and how vibrant is that in the murky, dirt. it's like it's so clear, the edges are so crisp, and it's so vivid. So 12, 2, and 1 is 3. Yeah, and 3 is always a spiritual connective number. So if I see 3, it's like your guides are witnessing. If I see 3, 3, it's like your guides are watching. And then if I see 3, 3, 3, you may have many guides watching you attentively, in this way. So if you're into numerology, that could be something for you to watch out for. The number 3 may be a way of the universe just saying, hey, we're here. Not necessarily for any particular reason, but just allowing you to accept the fact that when I see a 3, or to connect with them and go, yes, we're here, we're watching. Yes, we see you. Yes, there's something out there that's communicating back. Okay, I had to say that. Next, we're getting into these earthy energies again. The more we heal, the more we ground into a better part of who we are and become more solid and firm. Because they're showing me like, I don't know, there's a graphic I saw where the man, he's kind of standing with a stick right down the center, and he is standing his ground where he is on the earth, and there's a big sun lit up behind him. So it's like him glowing, standing strong in who we are. This is really basically what it is. And part of that is establishing boundaries, and not only establishing them, but standing up for them. And that was a lot of a couple years ago was the big thing. I know with me as well, because I'm part of the collective. So it's like, yeah, we have to create boundaries with people. So those that are not for our highest good, we remove ourselves from that energy field, and those that are for our highest good and we can advance forward, we have nothing holding us back, these are the places we want you to go. So there's a sense of creating boundaries with those that make it hard for us to move forward, because there's a frustration level they're making me feel here, having to do with the fact that we don't want to feel, we got to get underneath this frustration so that we can alleviate and move forward, because the frustration is for a lack of moving forward. So we have to, work at this process, and part of that is healing our own issues, having to do with our own blocks, creating barriers for us to move forward. And then we have to, really deal with the self enough to create barriers against others who are stopping us in that way. Okay. Little wordy there, but anyway, the flower of life, divine creativity and manifestation. So this is the future card as we move into the third. It's the energy coming into the future here. You hear this instantly when I put out the readings, and then as you go down the road a month or two and you look back on it, it will be a different way that you look into it. So the color card on top of that is amber. Awaken your creativity. And what do you know? 2 creative cards. 2 of those words. So there's a sense that everybody, or those that are involved in their own journeys. That's what they said. Those involved in their own journeys will find a high awakening of creativity. They will find a big spike of energy having to do with things that will titillize, that will amuse us, frankly. I can't get that word. Things that will make us feel good about lots. So I'm thinking we're talking about the word creativity. So endeavors in our life that we do on the side of things that we have to do, things that we do to embellish our life or make it better, or to be in a way that, it just lightens our frequency, really is what I'm getting. Now, give me a minute here. I get a lot of the rays, right? Because both these cards are really on the yellow rays here, and that's the spike of joy. It's like, okay, if this does not create joy for me, that may be too part of the frustration levels I'm feeling. It's like I'm not feeling the joy here. So we got to find our joy and gravitate in that direction. And once we do, again, this creative spike will start to come into play here quite highly. It will be something that it just will enliven us to a degree that's very, fun. And what's the word I'm looking for a specific word. Like effervescent. That's the word I kind of at the top of my scale there, but it creates a lightening of the spiritual soul, right? Because when you think about when you're in the office and you're doing things you have to do, it's kind of like there's a seriousness there. And then when you go and you're outside and you're playing with kids or the dog or the whatever, animals, or or just doing things that you enjoy, there's that kind of weight is gone. So there's a sense of frivolity. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. That kind of thing. Okay, we'll move on to the third row here. So just to overview the colors, the mauve, which is a very soft, warm, high-frequency color, because purple is the top of the sphere there, frequency-wise. They're talking about hearing. So from the highest high here, we're going to get insights, auditory, in our brain. We're going to hear words, phrases, could even be from passed over loved ones. We'll hear their voice in our ear. And again, I tell so many people, continue the conversation. If you hear your mother's voice, say hello. Don't just go, oh, that's me reminiscing. Answer it back and see if you can't get a dialogue going. Some may call that crazy. I just think it's it can give you a sense of peace about certain things that you may not find otherwise, and you may be surprised at what comes out. But anyway, so Maud, enjoy clear hearing that is being sent down from above to everyone to discern, right from wrong here. And again, the brown, establishing boundaries. There's a high contrast here, and I feel like as we spiritually evolve, we got to see that contrast within us and others. So if we don't know who we are, we really got to dig in and figure out who we are, so we know who is like us and who is not like us, because it is the point here now where we got to step aside into our groupings and figure out where we belong. And this is part of that process. And that's right down the center. Along with our healing, we will evolve more, we'll be more tuned in this area. And as we go on to the flower of life in the future, again, a spike of creativity will hit. Once we start healing these certain areas, we will become more creative in our abilities, wherever we choose to use them and wherever our joy sits. So, I keep thinking of hobbies. It's more under that kind of a frequency where things that we enjoy doing, that we fit in along with the things that we may not enjoy so much doing. These are going to amplify, okay? Okay, so the last set of cards is my chakra cards, and we're going to go on top of the soul retrieval, the mauve. What do we get there? We get the Chariot. Yep. It's about speed, it's about travel, it's about moving into the future. This is in our past, like if we're going into time zones here, this is in our past moving into our present. So there's a sense of speed coming in here. And the sense they're giving me is this has to do with also, okay, so we got abilities coming in. These abilities, if we listen to them, it can take us quite far, quite fast. If we don't, we will be going at a snail's pace. But nonetheless, we can move quite quickly if we listen to this internal chatter, is what they said. Again, being aware of the internal chatter, not just mindless, but mindful, right? Okay, so as we move into the present here, the Chamber of Healing, the brown, the boundaries that we need to put up. What is the chakra card we get there? 7 of Coins. They're going, this is assessment. No, give me a moment, because we got some deep blues and purples here. Yeah, right, because the 7 of Coins is usually looking over the work that we've done. So when we're healing, that is what we're doing. We're looking over what we've been through in order to assess how we're going to go forward from here. And they're giving me a high degree of discernment between the way we were and the way we're going to be, or the people we dealt with and the people we're going to deal with, or, you know, or just the boundaries themselves, acknowledging that. And everybody's going to have a different way that they're going to see this in their lives. Some people, it will be other people outside of them will show, you know, things that they do or don't want. Some people, it will be within the self. They will feel, I like this or I don't like that. You know, not necessarily people, but within my own taste, my own, I don't want to do this, I want to do this. This kind of thing. And spiritually, on a level of discernment, morally is what I'm getting. They're throwing those lines of good and bad at me. Like, you know, then we will be deciding whether we're going to do for the highest good of not only myself, but outside of myself, you know, this kind of thing. So it's really creating that barrier that, okay, I belong here on the right side or on the wrong side, or what have you, whatever decisions that you make there. So the 7 of coins, that's in the present, and that is assessing where we are. And again, creating the boundaries to see that more clearly. So as we move into the future, we got a lot of creativity spiking here, and the spike will happen when you've done the work. So if we've got a lot of if we're not feeling that creative wave, and I mean, I'm coming the end of January here. So if we don't see that quite highly, we may not be tapping into the right areas here in order to heal thyself and move along. So we might have to dig a little deeper. So the last card here for this top up of energy is the 4 of Cups. That's interesting. Because the 4 of Cups speaks to me of resistance, and all the green says in the heart center. So a lot of us, I think, will be having a hard time in the heart center accepting that in which we need to move forward. Because they're going, in order to heal and move forward, we need to understand that there's certain things here that have to be dealt with. We may not be able to... It's not that we won't deal with them. I think we will have no choice. But I think in order to deal with them in a compassionate way, this will be the challenge. We may refuse to go about this in a compassionate way. And it's interesting because this is the cliffhanger. And they did say about the chakra cards, we can have 1 extra. So they're telling me to go at the bottom of the deck. That was lightly. And I thought, you know, again, voices in my head. Here we go. So bottom is Justice card. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that sets everything. Because it was like a cliffhanger here. Sitting on the 4 Cups. Because the 4 Cups is almost like a refusal or disinterest or not, I'm not feeling it kind of thing. Now, if we get our creativity going in the Joy Center, there will be none of this 4 Cups stuff. We will be enlivened. We will be enriched. We will want to go forward. I feel like the Justice is here. You know, this is an interesting wave of energy I'm getting, because I get this great creative streak. Again, these are for the rewards for the people that do the work. Now, I get a sense of not wanting to deal with our compassion, and I feel like it's because we may still need healing here. Okay? And I feel like that's the Justice coming in and saying, we will gain our rewards once our work is done. And the sense is that you will keep looping in energy until we finish our assignment, kind of thing. And the sense here is the ability to have compassion for self and others. And for some people, it will be the self that is the problem. And for some people, it will be others that it's hard to have compassion for. And until we rise above that, and that's hard, it is hard. Because, you know, when I think of these concepts, I think of, you know, politics, and you go right in there. And it's like, I just want to throw the whole thing out. Just throw the whole thing out. And that's where... You know, like you go to the worst thing that's going on right now is all of this clutter, right? All of this fighting, whether it's between countries, between, you know, people, period. All of that has to be dealt with in a more compassionate sense of the word, and we're just not doing that. It's very combustive at this time, very explosive. So this is really being reflected here. But justice is at the end saying we're going to loop in this until we figure it out. So however long it takes. Those, I want to say higher ups, but the higher ups are watching. It's like kids on the playground. They're watching them to see how they behave. Are they ready to go to the next stage? And there's some that they'll open the gates for. There's a few little stragglers they'll walk through. They've healed. They've dealt with their issues. They've looked and created barriers for the good of not only themselves but others, and they are starting to pool together, and they're starting to create a glow, right? That creative glow. And for the others that aren't, they stay in the playground and they keep looping in those energies until they learn, and then they're slowly let out. And the sense here is just give me a minute while they formulate the visual for me in a proper manner. Yeah, the visual they're giving me is 3/4 of the children are in the gated courtyard. And they're not allowed to be set free yet because they have not got, because we're talking about 4D, 5D, upper dimensions here. They've not got the right frequency. They will not last in the new energy field. So this is what they're doing. They're preparing you for that energy shift. And again, you just won't prevail. We won't prevail in I'm not going to go drastic with that word at this point, but again, it just will be, it'll be like, you have a child that's not prepared to go into the next grade, so you hold them back, and then they, maybe it's math, maybe it's language, maybe there's something that they fall behind, but that extra year of work, then they finally, okay, they got caught up in math, they got caught up in English, whatever it is, and then the next year they go in and it's swimming. They're swimming in it. It's good. They can handle it. They understand it. There's no misconceptions here. But if we let them in without their proper tools, there's more room for failure. This is what's going on energetically. We're getting the last of the energies top to up. So, what does that mean, frankly? Okay, I've been along this process. They've been explaining it to me individually as I go here. And a lot of what's going on is, okay, if you're into energy work and whatnot, and you talk about going in for energy work, so whether it's Reiki or whatever modality you have, you go in, you see a practitioner, and they help you energetically increase. So as you go home, you'll find that things will trigger you, or there'll be things that will come up to the surface to be seen. These are things that you need to work on. So energetically, this is the same thing, right? This is why the eruption in I'm saying field, but in countries. This is why. Because there's certain things we have to work on to move forward here in a graceful, way. Though it is not peaceful, justice will come, because these people will have to learn they cannot go through unless they are of a peaceful nature in that way. Now, that sounds all great and wonderful, like a utopian on the end, but it has to really erupt in a negative manner in order to go smoothly. Like, there has to be a crash of the wave before it can, swell back outward smoothly, kind of thing. And this is the sense they're giving me, and that's the justice card at the end. It's like, there will be justice here for those who do not go in this way. And especially if they're doing so deliberately, and especially if they're not respecting others and their grace and dignity as they go forward. So this is all part of that. Now, how they'll be dealt with, that's a myriad of things, but this is the short of it so far. Basically coming down to people on the individual, right? There's no stress. You're not in politics and you're not in world wars. These people are just going to be working and moving forward. And the more that you work successfully within the self, the more you will find your creative nature flowering, and the more joy you will find in your future. and those that are not, it will just be more combustive. So again, it's pretty obvious at this point the separating of the waters, if I can put it that way, is happening. And as we move into this new energy field, there's going to be a lot of ripping apart of things. And I don't mean to say that disrespectfully, but that's what they're showing me. The wave comes in and it pulls things off the beach. And then there is your new, and it's, whether it's good or bad, it's just the way that it is. And then we move forward in a new energy. So if we had a beach full of tiki huts, then maybe half of those tiki huts are gone. Or, it's a different thing that we're moving into. They're giving it to me in visuals. And I can't quite express fluidly how it can transpire, but that's the basics of it. Justice will come in the end here. So this is kind of a cliffhanger, kind of a direct chop here. Is things will be dealt with. But again, there's a need for growth, and it's all about the growth cycle, really, and when and where people will hit them at different times and different modes and for different reasons. So I just wanted to make a note that I will be putting out the love readings here for February quite quickly. I will be putting the masculine and feminine reports out after. I'm going to actually give a quiz here if you guys want to keep the masculine and feminine reports, or if I can just amalgamate that into the love readings. I have a feeling that the love readings are going to go a lot deeper. Well, everything's gone a lot deeper, so, right? Why would the love be out of it? And that's really the whole point of all of the readings, is the love side of it. So keep an eye out for those. Those will be coming up soon. So take care, have fun, and be kind, and we will talk to you soon.